G'day fellas, and welcome to a casted game of Age of Empires 4. Today, we're on Lipany. A little bit of a weird spawn though, take a look at this. I think it might be inspired by the Passion of the Christ. We're very closely getting a bit of a crucifix there. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, a pleasure to have your company. Let us get to it because we've got ourselves quite some talented players today. Both of these guys, Conqueror 3 players. Let's introduce them. In the south of the map, in the color purple, playing as the Chinese, it's Athanatoi. And in the north of the map, in the color green, playing as the Order of the Dragon, opening up with an early barracks, it's finger-sucking original chicken. I tell you what, this guy currently ranked at about rank 14, rank 15 on the ladder. And I'm a big fan. Not because he's a good player, but because of his name. What kind of name is that? And it is just, it's putting all sorts of thoughts into my brain. I tell you what, I did a bit of a search for it, and basically all it came up was KFC in China, and that's pretty much what his name is. So look, he's probably a bit of a fan of the Colonel, Mr. Colonel Sanders, of course, the man in charge, the creator, the inventor. Anyway, how you guys doing? Welcome. A pleasure to have your company. If you haven't already, go ahead, hit that like button. It really helps out with the traction of the videos. And let's talk a little bit about this matchup, because this is a matchup I absolutely hate. I hate playing as the Chinese into the Order of the Dragon. I'm a big China player. You guys will know I'm a China main. And naturally, when you come up against the Order of the Dragon, you feel very much like you don't know what to do. They're always one step ahead of you. Because what you want to do as the Chinese is you want to boom. You want to go for 2 town centers. You want to go for the Song Dynasty. But you can't really do that. Because if you do that, they're just always going to be one step ahead. They're going to be picking up the relics. They're going to be going to the Imperial Age. And they're just going to be... They're going to have so much more tempo than you once they reach that Imperial Age. So... it's not really something that you can do. You normally have to play outside the box, whether that be something like going for a cheeky Barbican rush on their gold and trying to push them off balance, or whether that's just going up to Castle Age by yourself and then adding in that second town center a little bit later. Maybe sometimes we see players play it in Feudal, so going for a Song Dynasty and then going into Jukunu. Something that you need to be a bit dangerous, though, against a civilization like the Order of the Dragon, notorious for their infantry. Now, keep in mind, the Holy Roman Empire do have access. I would be murdering that sheep. Okay, thank you. The Order of the Dragon don't have access to the unique tech, or, I mean, it's technically not even a unique technology anymore, but the Holy Roman Empire have faster infantry. The Order of the Dragon's infantry is just normal speed, normal speedy boys, not super speedy boys. But so far, so good for our Order of the Dragon player. Let's ride on board, though, with Athanatoi, as he's a little bit short on gold here. What's the go with this? Have a look at this. He's stacking up plenty of food. We can see he's got a couple of villagers in queue. I think he might be just playing the exclusive gold drop-off game. It's a fun game, but he's going to have to wait to get that age up through. He could actually look to go for a fast castle with this. This is something that I used to do quite often when I was going for a fast castle. You can see he's actually handing in to push his tax up here. This isn't something I do. This is very inefficient to do. It is technically possible if you don't want to go for the gold. Actually, where is his gold vein? Is that his gold vein? Why is it so far forward? Is it just me, or is his gold vein in no man's land right now? Look at this gold vein, dude. There is, I mean, This one's fine, right? Like, this crosses the mining camp. There's no way you're crossing the mining camp. Look at that gold. Okay, I guess that's why he's decided to do it. I mean, it's a smart move, right? Like, and it's evidently clear, now looking back on it, that, oh, okay, he knows his enemies opened up with their racks. If we take a look and see, you know, very clearly he has spotted out where the barracks is, so he knows that there's a racks in play. He's probably seen, I don't actually know if he saw the spearmen come around the back of the base, though. I suspect probably not. But I mean, once you get confirmation on that racks, there's no two ways about it. So, already this early migration, and we see Athanatoi is going to spot this out. Now, does this get spotted out on the reverse? Yes, so he spots his enemy, seeing that he has got this. So there's always the risk when you do this, that you're going to be raided. But the fact that he has now scouted that out, to me, says, hey, you know, I know that you've spotted me, and I know that there's a chance that you might raid me. So we could see an extra spear come out for our Order of the Dragon player here today. But it is just going to be the Archon Chapel that's put down inside the base. Beautiful little position that he's got here for it as well, right up against the wood line. Beautifully up against the town center as well, so he gets maximum value for his farms that he'll inevitably place there. And both players aging up at the exact same time. Sorry, wrong key. There we go. And there's going to be an archery range that's put down immediately for Athanatoi. So, interesting decision coming out from him. As I said, you typically, when you're playing as the Chinese in this matchup, you really want to try and push your opponent off balance by doing something that they don't expect. If you just do what they expect, they will destroy you because they can just do the status quo, which is just, you know, the typical fast castle. Sometimes they make a couple of units, so you might see a stable, you might see a horseman or a spearman or a men-at-arms, but it's almost always just going to be straight up to the castle age, grab those relics. But now we've got the spearman, which is going to be caught out of position here. We can see how quick these archers are, but he'll eventually be able to make it away. They do have the same speed, but inevitably he will make his way towards this mill. So really nice reaction here from Athanatoi. I know that in my position, I'd be very tempted to just sort of continue doing what my plan was, but I think there's a big component of him there's a big component of what he's doing where he's just kind of spotted this out and said, I know my enemy's got a barracks. I'm going to force them to make a stable or force them to make men-at-arms, and even if they make men-at-arms, they're not going to be able to kill me because I'm just going to run around in circles while I kill these vills. And you can see at the moment that our Order of the Dragon player, he's very much realizing that he is going to be under pressure soon, so gathering up as much food as he can before he migrates out, and you can see those vills going to be chased immediately by the scout. There is no escaping here, so he's probably, at the best, he's going to be losing. Oh, this is a bad decision coming out from our Order of the Dragon player. I don't like this at all. Now, if he's gone for a stable, which he has, I do take it back. Does nice little quick wall as well, so there's no guarantee that he's going to be losing vills. And as long as he keeps them up here. Now, what he could also look to do, you don't want to chop the trees at the back, because the moment you do, you're going to get rid of that food. What you want to be doing is you could just build a lumber camp and you could hand it in. But even then, you probably don't want to do that. The horseman is going to be able to clean it up. He forces out the early horseman, though, forces the early stable, which is really nice. And behind this, we can see that Athanatoi is actually up to some cheeky little stuff. The archers have made it all the way around. They have secured some confirmation shots over here, and that's going to be the first vill going down with 17 food aboard, trying to bring these archers in a little bit further. You can see that the horseman is easily going to be able to clean all of this up, but a very nice little a little bit of a, I don't even know what to call that right there, but he's going to try and take out the scout. Probably the smartest move, actually, to try and focus down that scout. He does actually get it. Second Gilded Horseman coming out here, and Athanatoi, he's feeling very good about himself, the fact that he's made his opponent invest so many resources into units this early on. Jeez Louise, that's a lot. Spears are now going to be coming out to meet this as well. They'll turn around and look to try and fight the horsemen, and we'll be able to find success here. Hardened upgrade has come through, riding back on board with Athanatoi back at home. It's a second TC, baby. It's a second TC. Really interestingly played here by Athanatoi. I love this opening from him. The only thing that would have really made this a lot... Ooh, outpost is coming up. Vill might go down here. He doesn't actually have the textiles upgrade. He's going to try and pick off that villager before the outpost gets up, and you can see he's going to be able to chase off a second one. He will dive inside at the last second. Vills now do manage to make their way through. A couple of Vills trying to find their way through that stealth forest, and you can see that Athanatoi is going to pop out. We'll be able to hunt down another one. That's going to be a third villager that goes down. And I tell you what, he's feeling very good about himself. This is a beautiful little start that he's got. Take a look at this. A little bit too much stone gathered up, but I tell you what, we're not gonna hold it against him for the moment. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about what's in the news lately. It's been a while since I've uploaded a video, I think about a day or two. During that time, not only have we had a CEO that has gone, but I tell you what, like, how wild is that, bro? This is one of the wildest things that's actually happened this year. And there's been a lot of wild things happening this year, but I think what's so interesting about this story, and if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, give me the rock that you're sleeping under, but no, I'll fill you in. So basically, in the United States, there was an assassination that happened. The CEO of a healthcare company was assassinated on the street in New York. Video footage of it was posted online and shared by the police. And as a consequence, you would expect it. You know, people would say, "Wow, okay, someone's been assassinated." We really, you know, you can empathize with a person or a family who's lost somebody. But one of the interesting things to note is that the healthcare company that gentleman was the CEO of, it had double the industry average when it came to refusals. So they refuse coverage, which I think was like 32%. So basically, if you made an application for coverage for something that you thought was covered, you know, like, hey, I've got this cancer and I'm getting real bad nausea from the chemotherapy that I'm doing. I need these drugs that are going to help with my nausea. And they would just be like, nah, you don't need those drugs, bro. You're fine. You can deal with the nausea. You're okay. Even though, you know, you got a doctor and all the ologists that are trying to help you out, they still deny. So, yeah, I think it's interesting. It's almost a little bit of a paradigm shift. You know, my wife sent me some social media stuff about how there was a company that that was increasing the price of a product by like 10%, and the top comment with like 18,000 upvotes was, "Who's the CEO?" I was just like, it is absolutely brutal, but at the same time, like, I think we're starting to see a little bit of a shift here. So who knows? Maybe late-stage capitalism is finally starting to rear its ugly head. Well, I mean, it's already reared its ugly head, but perhaps we finally start to see the modern-day guillotine coming out. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's get back to the action because the castle age is now upon us. As we expected, this is something that always happens when we've got Order of the Dragon in the game. I hope you've enjoyed that little political, little bit of political commentary. I mean, it's not really commentary, is it? I mean, I'm sure you can tell what side of the aisle I sit on with regard to that one. There was a great quote once again that I read. I unfortunately don't remember the gentleman, but the words were, "I've never wished for somebody's death, but I have read some obituaries with great pleasure," and I suspect that many people will be feeling that way. Anyway, let's check in with the relics and see how they're doing on the north side, because I was going to say the age up's coming through now for our Chinese player, but it's not. It's actually going to be the Song Dynasty coming in. We've already got our first Gilded Knight out for the day, first relic coming back as well. A little bit of a bore over on this west side of the map. Is he really going to try? He doesn't have textiles. Okay, you better be microing this. You've only got 5 vills here. This is very, very bold. Okay, he is going to micro. He's going to have to pull that vill. Does manage to do it. Keep in mind, these are Order of the Dragon vills, so a little bit stronger. I love that the boar was going after the weaker vills. And there we go. Manages to get it. Doesn't lose a vill. He's already lost 3 this game. So, honestly, Athanatoi's done a great job in managing to deal an economic blow to the opponent. The trouble is this, right? Athanatoi is just kind of where you normally are when you're playing as the Chinese, right? Like, you have got your... Oh, okay, I thought that was a third TC. You've got your 2 TCs, you've got your Song Dynasty, you've got a Vil lead, right? And this is great. The trouble is that you look up here at the top and you think, okay, this is a decent Vil lead that's building, but first and foremost, it's Order of the Dragon Vils that you're up against, okay? That's the first thing. Second of all, once they hit Imperial Age, you're going to be having to deal with the Palace of Swabia. And just keep in mind, the Palace of Swabia is going to be coming very, very quickly. You see this Imperial Palace that's coming up right now? He's got a handful of Vils on it. Order of the Dragon, I mean, is he already up? He's not already up, but he'll be up very, very quickly. So while we do have Castle Age that's now coming along here... Hold on, did I hear the Imperial Age? No, I didn't. It was just the conversion. He will actually be able to take... The spear got deleted right as he took it. Manages to keep the Prelate alive, though, so very well done. But keep in mind that Palace of Swabia is going to be online soon, and the moment that it comes online, you're going to start printing vills. But even in saying that you've still got relics that will bridge the gap, because you've got this Regnitz Cathedral. So the economy, while it might look on paper to be pretty bad, and it is, you're talking about 2/3 of the economy in favor of Athanatoi, whereas 1/3 of it goes over to our Order of the Dragon player. It's not really the case, because we do have the relics in play, and we also have that Swabia that's inevitably going to come online. I mean, this is the current state of the game, right? And this is, as I said, this is kind of how we expect it to go. I will say, though, that Athanatoi has done a very good job in just causing havoc, forcing these delays out from his opponent, because relics are only getting picked up at 13 minutes. Normally, against the Chinese, you're seeing relics getting picked up at the 9-minute mark, 10-minute mark, around that. So each minute that goes by that the relic hasn't been picked up, you've delayed your opponent 160 gold. Per relic, and that's amazing. That's really, really good. Swabia is going to come up now, though, and it's a beautiful little spot at the back of the base here. We always want to put it on the wood line, just because we can rally over to the wood, and then we can make a farm with those wood fills. The same thing that happens with the Ark and Chapel. You know, you're sort of doing that going for that same sort of idea. But we've got more units starting to come out for our Order of the Dragon player. He's going for a little bit of a bits of army, bits of everything. So we do see the Horsemen, the Gilded Knight. We see the Gilded Archers, the Gilded Spearmen. And there is plenty of units coming out for you. Meanwhile, over on that east side of the map, we're right on board now, as the farm transition is going to be coming in shortly for Athanatoi. We know that by the granary. He's put it down here. Beautiful little spot that he's got back here. Obviously just going to be utilizing it for the berries at the moment. Veterancy on the spears has now arrived. He's going to be up against Imperial Age units, though, because keep in mind his opponent has gone with the Palace of Swabia, has aged up. I was about to say evolved. But, anyway, now moving towards the middle. Plenty of spears starting to come out. Moving into crossbows as well. Really smart move. The one thing that you're weak against here is Lunch Connector. And this is something that the Order of the Dragon understand very, very well. They don't start off by making Lens Connector. Often they'll make, you know, a nice little massive men-at-arms, maybe mix in some hand cannoneers, and then they just mix in just a couple of Lens Connector and say, see if you spot the Lens Connector. And they absolutely wreak havoc on this front line. But now we see those sacred sites starting to get picked up. Now, interestingly, we've got 4 relics in the hands of our Order of the Dragon player. That 5th relic, I don't even know where it is. Where's the 5th relic? Did it not spawn a 5th relic? Is it hiding somewhere? Has it been? Don't tell me it didn't. Oh no, it's literally right here, Drongo. You're blind as a bat. You know, I think this is one of the things that happens as you get older, is your health gets worse. You know, I was speaking to my mum a couple of days ago. And all we talk about is health now. It's like, oh, my leg's hurting, my knee's hurting. And then for her, it's like, you know, she plays golf. And I tell you what, it's just... You think that golf would be like a pretty... It wouldn't be that strenuous playing golf. Mate, do you know how many injuries her and her friends have got? Maybe it's just because they're old. And I guess that's just the thing, right? As you get older, you're more prone to injury. You know, you get strains and sprains, and playing golf, the same thing is going to be happening quite a bit. But take a look at this. I mean, it's good control that's come out already from Athanatoy in this game. This is an impressive control. The level of control that he's got over the map is very good. The fact that he's challenging sacred sites, this is not something that you typically see. In this situation, normally it is, you know, a whole bunch of men-at-arms starting to run over the enemy already, starting to clear out these sacred sites. No prospect of capture. But farm transition now starting to come through. We're right on board with him. He's got the Imperial Palace. Now, he does have the ability to call upon those spies if he so chooses. And keep in mind that when he does use that ability, he'll be able to locate all of these vills, and you can actually see right now, he's got a single spearman out here on the edge of the map. Last relic, still not yet picked up. It's the one towards the north. Wait, I think our Order of the Dragon player didn't know until he was taken up there. Hand cannoneer also coming out now. More units on the way on the south. Still, we don't see that Imperial Spy's ability being used just yet. But Vills are going to get taken out. Look at this. So sneaky, so cheeky. 63 against 91 Vills. Obviously, the Vills aren't the same Vills. You've got Order of the Dragon Vills against the standard Vills of the Chinese. You've also got those relics in play. 4 at the moment. It will be, I'm confident, shortly, 5 relics and plenty of Vills on stone. I suspect he might be looking to get some emplacements on these outposts because he is starting to get a little bit overwhelmed here. Our Chinese player, definitely, when it comes to this matchup, you'd have to say he is not favored to win. I think I'd have to double check what the numbers are, but I remember looking at the stats and it was something silly, like 65% of games in this matchup were won by the Order of the Dragon player, but that was probably a while ago. Maybe like, I don't know, 6 months ago, a year ago, back when I took myself a little bit more seriously in 1v1. Jeez, I tell you what, taking yourself serious in video games, it's tough, isn't it? You know, it's one of those things where it's like, you just very much have to be, you almost have to be like a Buddhist. You have to be focused on yourself. It's very tough to blame, or it's very easy to blame your enemy Civ, or blame the map, or blame the matchup. But at the end of the day, we just got to look at what we can do to get better. Have a look at that. Nice little hand in. He got some wood in there apparently as well. Where'd you get the wood from, mate? 14 wood in this thing? I didn't know you were... I mean, the Japanese get stone. They don't get wood. That gold must be making him very happy. How many of you guys got that? Come on. Oh, jeez. That was a good one. Look at this this little raid that's coming in. I'm going to be honest. Athanatoy is playing a little bit like an AI. Is it Athanatoy? I don't want to call you out right now, but you're playing a little bit like how an AI plays. So what the AI does is they get little groups of troops and they send them over to all these different corners of the map. Maybe is it Age of Empires where the AI does that? I remember playing a game and it was just like constantly dealing with these. And they do have like their main army, which they have, but they're constantly sending through little raiding forces. Look at this annoying little forces that he's sending right now. I tell you what, have we got DeepMind playing? Is this Gemini? What AI is Athanatoy using right now? Because this is really good control that he's got. The fact that he's in so many areas right now, so many different locations, and we hear those cannon emplacements have finally arrived. 88 damage on each one of those shots. Keep in mind, they've also got the AoE as well, and that's not Age of Empires. That is the area of effect. Let's switch it over to income, get a bit of an idea on where these guys are at. 109 Vils versus 84. He's taken out 8 so far this game, so it should technically be 92. But realistically, you're talking about 3,500 on one side compared to 4,500 on the other side. Athanatoi still up. Imperial Age is on the way through. Tempo is definitely in favor with Athanatoi. I don't think he's going to be pushing too hard into this, though. The Hand Cannoneers together with the Gilded Archers are going to be more than enough to hold this off. The trouble that he's going to have is over towards the edge of the map, as 11 villages have now been taken out. Athanatoi continues to push this up even higher. Now, what was the name of our Order of the Dragon player? It was something finger licking original chicken, I think it was. Finger sucking original chicken. That was the translation that I got. Another translation I got was finger sucking original flavor chicken. But I felt like it just didn't have the same, spice behind it. Let's just say that. The same oomph, the same hit behind it. We've got walls starting to come up on the edges of the map as well, something that you often see on Lipany. You know, Lipany is notorious for its walls, just because, while technically it is an open map, you know, it's Dry Arabia's more berrylicious cousin. Because of the way that the formations happen with the cliffs, it makes it very prone to walling, and that's what we see now. So by putting these walls up, you can get another one in here. You can see it pretty much cuts off half the map with just a handful of bits and bobs on those walls. By the same token, over on the west side, you know, you get a stone wall across a quarter of the map, and it manages to wall you out all the way to the middle. So it's one of those things that when it comes to Lipany, it is a very much defensive map. But we do obviously see aggression on it. Once it reaches the late game, defense is going to be quite simple. Yeah, plenty of walls coming up, though. Have we had that Imperial Spies ability out yet? I don't think we have. Keep going to come up on this large gold vein. If this keep gets up, this could be absolutely instrumental in victory today. Securing the gold will be significant, and he does get it up. Manages to get the Holy Roman Empire keep online. Now that means he secures the central gold. Now keep in mind there is still this contested gold towards the north. A whole bunch of contests happening over that central sacred site as well. But up to the north, we've still got this gold. Now, Athanatoi has just been playing safe with the gold at home. And I think that's absolutely fine for the moment, but he's going to need to start getting out and taking control of the gold. The problem is this gold, this is so far on the edge of the map. Okay, if you want to stonewall this and put a keep down, the trouble that you're going to have, oof, yeah, this is really bad. This is really bad if this gets up right now for our Holy Roman Empire player. Because the trouble that you've got is that even if you put like a stone wall and a keep here, the enemy just sends like one bombard and they'll slowly whittle you down. And to get over here, you have to send so many troops so far. That's the trouble. You got to come all the way down, around, and then up. Whereas like contesting this, your army is always going to be stationed here, right? Because it's relatively close to the middle of your base. And by the same token, had Athanatoi secured this, he'd just be able to park his army right here, and he's always close to home, but at the same time, he's close to the gold vein. So it's one of those things where this gold vein is by far the superior one. This one is going to be a hard one to contest. It's going to be a hard one to hold, and it just got a lot harder for Athanatoi to contest this gold as the stone walls now start coming up for our finger-sucking original chicken enjoyer. Not enjoyer, I'm putting enjoyer on his name, but I'm sure that's why his name is that way. And look at this, he's thinking about palisades, mate. You're playing chess. This guy out here is playing checkers. Have a look at the walls that have come up as well. There's no way you're getting in there, my friend. Plenty of stone walls. We are walling up today. Astronomical Clock Tower on the way. You want Dynasty already? I don't know about that one, Athanatoi. Normally we'd leave that one for last. Ideally we want to hit Ming Dynasty first and then go Astronomical, but maybe you're not even going to consider going into Ming Dynasty here. Do you really need Grenadiers? Probably not. Probably not. And now he surrounds the wall and says, oh, okay, that's awkward. You're already stonewalled on this side. Mate, that ain't the only place. Have a look at this. Oh, he's looking to steal away all the resources. And you can see that while the military positioning was decent for Athanatoi, he threw away a lot of troops. And as a consequence, he's also given up quite a bit of ground on the extremities of the map. Keep going to be coming up on the smaller gold here. And I suspect he's going to be looking to challenge the stone wall on this side with that. Once again, throws away even more army on the opposite side of the stone wall. Got walled in completely. And now we start to see horsemen coming out. Elite horsemen. Interesting decision. Elite horsemen. I wonder what the thinking is behind that. I suspect it's probably because of farms. Now, I actually saw when I was casting over on Twitch, because I'm not on Twitch at the moment. I'm just chilling here. Being chilling. But when I was on Twitch, Crackety said something in the chat. He said, at the moment, farms are too strong. So players have often got a surplus of food, which makes horsemen and spearmen too strong because they're very food efficient units. Obviously, when it comes to fights like this, it's a different a different story, but it's not so much about the fight more so than it is the economy that supports that and guarantees that there will be a flood of units to follow. Horseman now going to look for a run by. He's still technically got an open base despite all the stone walls, and now going to be chasing away as a secondary keep has been placed in the north side of the map. Expect to see bombards on the way, maybe a cannon or two. Looks like it's actually going to be battering rams that he's opting for. Not just any, that is the clock tower battering rams. Trying to take these vills out. You want to try and get all of them done so that there's nothing, no remnants left. And by doing that, that's huge. He's now taken out 40 vills this game. Athanatoi has been working overtime to keep the Holy Roman Empire, or the Order of the Dragon rather, under wraps. Meanwhile, have a look at this, a stone wall. They literally picked out the exact same position. He's just everywhere on the stone. Have a look at this. It's kind of wild just how much, you know, his name is Finger-Sucking Original Chicken, but I can't help but feel like it might be Finger-Sucking Original Stone, because he is absolutely all over the stone on this map. He just wants it, every single angle. You can see those units towards the top side. They had to chase away the vills, and now they start coming back towards the main base, the Barbican. No emplacements on it. I mean, it's going to fall a little bit faster. I mean, it doesn't technically fall any slower without the emplacements. It's just that you kill units more quickly. You disincentivize your enemy from attacking you, especially when they've got a big clumped up group of ranged units like this. But now, more and more hand cannoneers continue to rally. Have we picked up our unique upgrade? We have. Pyrotechnics is online. That'll mean 5.5 tiles of range for these hand cannoneers. It's the one saving grace the Chinese have got in this matchup. A little bit of extra range, and you can see how much he'll struggle here. The hand cannoneers of his opponent are at 4.5 tiles of range. You might not think it makes much of a difference, but I assure you it does make a big difference. The other thing to note is that these hand cannoneers fire a lot faster. So these hand cannoneers, that's an archer. That's a man-at-arms. Okay, there we go. These guys fire every 1.12 seconds compared to the hand cannoneers of his opponent, which fire every 2.12. So almost twice the attack speed. Not quite, but very, very close to twice the attack speed. It's going to turn around now. Nice little mass that he's got building up here. We're right on board with the defender as he tries to hold on for dear life. Hand cannoneers, spears, plenty of units here. Both players at 190 population. You can see the strength of the Order of the Dragon army. Keep in mind, he's got a huge army compared to his opponent. 84 military pop versus 47, but he's still able to keep his head above water. The hand cannoneer numbers on the backside looking good, and we start to hear what sounds like it might be a trebuchet. I think it's a trebuchet, a boulder. There was a big boom that just happened on this Barbican. Maybe it was just reaching a critical threshold. 3,400 health, perhaps. Gilded Horseman coming through. He's going to try and hold the front line with his own horsemen. Meet them out. He's got plenty of resources in the bank. He just needs more production. He needs raxes. He needs stables. He needs everything right now. He just needs to throw it towards the front. That's the key, and there they are. There they are, ladies and gentlemen. They're not in red, so we're not going to call them Ronald today. In fact, why would we call them Ronald when we've got the Colonel present? Meanwhile, towards that top side, still no... We do see remnants of these vills, but I think these are just additional vills that were brought from the homeland to assist on the front line. So no battering ram presence. I don't know what happened with these battering rams, but they ideally just should have been rallied towards this top side. Maybe he was looking at... Yeah, he's being a bit annoying. Have a look at this behind enemy lines. Only 3 vills working it down. Not gonna be able to find it. Vills are... He's actually got his own vills here trying to take it down. But outpost as well as the mill indicate he's been down here for a while. Stone wall's now going to start coming up for Athanatoi. Vill count still in favor of Athanatoi, but remember that you're talking about Order of the Dragon vills. So if we do a quick comparison between these two, you got 3k, 3 or 4k, 5 or 4, 5.8k. So we'll call it 6k over on this side, 2.7, 1.6. So somewhere in the region of about 4,300, 5,600. So pretty even economy, honestly. Pretty close. The one difference is you got 23 pop at the moment. That's not doing anything, not to mention it is not military population at the moment as well. Interesting comp from Athanatoi. Honestly, this is the perfect comp, I think. Hand cannoneer, horseman, spears. You're funneling all of that food into horseman spears, and then all of the gold that you've got, you're just using it on those hand cannoneers. Makes perfect sense. No wall at the front here, by the way. He's looking to try and get stone walls up. The vills are through on the backside. Absolutely unprepared. Athanatoi makes a huge mistake here. This is the biggest mistake he's made all game. The fact that he's just not prepared, didn't think 2 steps ahead with regard to this wall. Stone on the edge of the map. I think another big mistake was not securing up this gold a little bit sooner. His enemy's only taken off 1,200 so far. And not securing the front. I mean, it's one of those little things where it's like, yeah, you got your army there, but what happens if your army dies? Then the enemy just runs through. Horseman coming down to the bottom side. Viscount, watch it as it starts to fall for Athanatoi. He's got plenty of resources in the bank, so it's not going to be a huge issue immediately. He's also got the 2 town centers, so he can pump out Vils quite quickly. But hand cannoneers do stand strong in this central location. One thing to note is we are in the Imperial Age, so there is, oh my lord, there is the risk of mangonels. This is quite the mangonelable army. But for the moment, the mangonels remain hidden. They remain secret. They remain... I don't know how or why, but there is currently a fly in my room. It's a 1:39 a.m. in the morning. There's a fly buzzing around my room. It just landed on my hand. Get out of here, mate. Get out of here. I've just taught my son about flies. He's actually fascinated with spiders at the moment. Loves spiders. And I recorded a video of a spider eating a fly. He said, "Shoot, fly." I said, "That's exactly right, mate. It is shooing. It is getting all shoot up by the spider." All right, well, the attack has been shut down. He's lost 32 Vils in the commotion. 171 versus 170 pop. But this is the biggest trouble that you've got right now. These Vils managed to find a way through. And look, you're going to secure this wall at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, the reality is, this is your problem. Look at this. This is just going to be infinite horsemen in the back, and you're going to be wondering, where did these horsemen come from? Why are they in my base? It's going to take you so long to respond to that by the time you respond to it, you send all your units down to deal with the annoying keep with all of its fire armor. And then by the time you do that, then there's been annoying, response up here in the north. It just doesn't stop. So when it comes to gold control, this is the final gold that Athanatoi has got. So once he loses this gold, that's it. And he's only got 466 in the bank. Hand Cannoneers back towards the middle. Going to be looking to fight plenty of units here for him, though. But have a look at this. The Gilded Hand Cannoneers on the backside. Look at this. All the spears have just run by. Elite Horseman a little bit slow to the party. Really poor micro from Athanatoi. He's just going to be losing out on all of these troops when he didn't really have to be. Those spears should have been ushered up against the Hand Cannoneers. They've all been mauled completely. But meanwhile, on the other side, he also finds it. Meanwhile, spears. Zhukunu, we see the upgrade. I was going to say, we don't see the upgrade yet. There's the elite upgrade coming through now for the Zhukunu. Meanwhile, towards the top side, we see the battering rams looking to try and exchange keeps. Unfortunately, she keeps her numbers close to her chest, my friend. And that keep is not going to be exchanging with you today, my friend. All right, back towards the south. Still these horsemen rallying through, and we can really start to see just how good, well, not how good, I don't want to say how good, but just the difference between these two players, because Athanatoi obviously is Conqueror 3, he's a very good player, he's put up an incredible fight, but you can't help but feel like it's starting to get away from him here. And it's not necessarily the gold control, and it's not necessarily the population difference or the resource difference, but this is the biggest thing. This is a game-winning move. You know, in FFA, we think about game-winning moves and the Hail Mary, and, okay, where's the king? How do I go for the king kill? Like, this is a Hail Mary, but this is... I mean, we call it a Hail Mary, but the truth is this has gone 10 yards, 12 yards. It's a first down, wonderful. But it is just, it's a guarantee. That's pretty much it. You can see he's actually made a bit of a mistake here attacking the granary for the moment. But we've got a counter push happening. Hold on, hold your horses stronger. Athanatoi's looking to try and push towards the enemy base. Stone wall has come up completely, making sure that everything behind these walls is completely safe. Lots of production out here on the outside is not going to be as safe. Zhukunu now looking a little bit better. No +3 ranged attack in just yet. He's got a lot of upgrades. And lots of units outside the base. Things are starting to get worse for our Order of the Dragon player. The one thing that he's got going for him is this Vil count, or rather lack thereof, for his opponent. Slowly eating away at that villager count. Attrition. Not training any units for the moment. Run some Vils out. What's the play here for him? Where does he go from here? As towards the north, we've actually had the stone wall broken and a palisade wall built in its place. I can't help but feel like you need a bombard at this point, right? Like, battering rams just isn't going to do it. Battering rams may have worked a little bit earlier, but at this point, you just want to go. A single bombard here is fine. You make a single bombard here and you just win. And this is 5k gold, right? Like, this is a lot of gold. You need this gold. This is, I don't know why this is so little attention has been applied to this gold vein. This was something that could have been won 10 minutes ago. But it is what it is. And we just got to keep observing and keep wondering where the game takes us. Zhukunu, together with a couple of horsemen, Keep in mind, as they die, they provide that attack speed boost as well as that heal to their nearby units. And Cannoneers on the back also going to start teeing off. You can see just how much health these Gilded Horsemen have got. They just eat through this completely. Each one of these represents the equivalent of 2 horsemen at the moment. That's how strong they are. But now, chasing down Vils. It's been an absolute massacre on both sides here. 75 Vils versus 49 Vils when it comes to Vil deaths. Still no bombard, by the way. And we could have had a clock tower bombard. But we've still just, I mean, it's wood, right? Gold's hard to come by. Wood, it's cheap and it's easy. But you make one bombard and it solves your problem forever. So, you know. All right, well. Looks like he's about, or he has actually spotted this out. The traders, he was attempting to start some trade towards the south, and he spotted out the outpost towards his opponent, or towards his south from his opponent. More units are building up towards the front. 200 pop versus 186. Not a lot of wood in the bank for our finger-sucking, original chicken-enjoying friend from China. How the Zhuge doing? Do we still... Can we check the uni upgrades? I was going to say, do we really not have incendiary arrows at this point? Not only do we not have incendiary arrows, but we don't actually have +3 ranged attack either. Which is kind of wild. We've also got serpentine powder. Kind of good here, maybe? Serpentine powder? Not really. They gain a brief increase in movement speed after firing their weapons. I mean, it's relatively cheap upgrade, right? I mean, it's 500 gold. It's kind of expensive. Great Wall Gatehouse going to be coming in. Where does he go with this? Is it in the north? Or is he protecting the farms? I don't even know where he's... Oh, he's putting it down on the south side. Bit of a weird spot to put it here. It doesn't really do anything. I don't agree with that at all. You know, if it went here, I'd be like, yeah, that's amazing. Meanwhile, back towards the front, look at all the Zhuge Nu. Zhuge Nu teeing off. They've got their upgrades. No plate cutter point just yet. Rallying out more and more units towards the center. The Zhuge Nu able to take down the backline, but have a look how quickly they've been eaten alive by those horsemen. Meanwhile, in the end, the Great Wall Gatehouse gets up and it shuts down this frustrating little attack, but the horsemen are just going to run around. The horsemen just simply run around. If he'd made the Great Wall Gatehouse back here, if he deleted this and then built it here, then it would make sense because it covers the farms. It might not be as much as the Berkshire, but it's still decent coverage. This just feels like it's completely useless here. Like, sure, you'll take down the keep, but a bombard and 14 spears would have done it for you, mate. We start to see it unravel, and it's hard, right? Because the reality is these are high-octane games. You need a lot of APM to play this. You're moving units everywhere, here, there, idols. You've got to be constantly thinking, but now the tides have started to turn. Athanatoi. Still not yet able to secure this gold in the north, despite putting down multiple keeps, attempting to leapfrog his way towards it. Siege Workshop, no units coming out, because at the end of the day, it's about whether the Chinese can take the gold, not about whether the Order of the Dragon can hold it. Of course they'll hold it, they've got it. Meanwhile, Trebs now come out for our Order of the Dragon player in the south of the map. 9,000 food in the bank. You can see this is what we were talking about when it comes to horsemen and spears. Very, very important units. You just want to have them flooding the front. Make sure that your backline never dies because you've got such a huge flood of them. But we can see that there's plenty of production back here. The main issue that he's got, the main barrier that he's got is, well, there's no units in queue. That's the main issue that he's got right now. He's on the, there we go, 10 and 12. A couple of Zhuge Nu as well. I don't know, I don't really like the Zhuge Nu. I mean, Zhuge Nu obviously good, but more hand cannon is really important. The Juicy Legacy have got great Zhuge Nu. The Chinese, they've got good Zhuge Nu. That's pretty much it. I'd say the hand cannoneer is still what you want to be going for with the Chinese, or at least a mix of both. All right, more units continue to make their way through. But you can't help but feel like the position our Order of the Dragon player is in just continues to improve. More traders getting hunted down here. The keep is technically burning down, but it feels like it's starting to take a toll on Athanatoi. Where's that production at? It's a production issue, and that's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. The game gets called. Athanatoi taps out, and our victor today is it is finger-sucking original chicken. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you've enjoyed this casted game, and of course, we'll catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.